I always go back to when you have a fighter like him, you have Kayla Harrison, with us, with Cyborg, the UFC with Amanda Nunes at that 145. I feel like there's certain fighters that I'd really like to see cross promotion for. I really don't want to see them leave their organization if they're happy. I want to see that. I want to see these fights happen though.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
I had this conversation with Rogan when I was on his show. I said, look, it's like having a year-end show. It's almost like a Olympics, where how MMA in Japan, they always had the New Year's Eve show. If you do one big show, have like 3 or 4 promotions come in, put a couple guys or females on a card and put it together, it'd probably be the biggest and most watched MMA show every year. Absolutely. I mean, you've got fans and you got people from all around the world. You say, like, and I'm not saying you have to have champion versus champions, but there's just fighters I would love to really see fight. Like I've always said, Stephen Thompson and MVP to me would be a fantastic fight. I'd love to see that fight.
So good.
There's just things there's certain fighters that I feel that that I know that they don't like UFC. It wouldn't benefit them to do anything with Bellator. It wouldn't benefit them to do anything with one, but there's others or PFL for that matter. But there's just certain fighters that are on their roster that they're not doing anything with. They're not going to try to do anything with. Guys like Stephen Thompson, he's not going to allow him to make another run for the title. He's 38 years old. They're not going to allow it. So just let him move on.
Not even move on.
I don't really know if let him move on. Like, but put him into another fight, but still keep him under the UFC banner. Absolutely. Everyone knows that he's getting older, and just love to see him fight someone like MVP, who has come up short several times in title shots or in the opportunity to fight for the title. So just those are the type of fights I'd like to see. Now with DeRitter, like you can see him fighting, other guys from other organizations, because not a lot of fighters want to go to one based on the fact that it's so difficult to have people view them. Now they just signed a deal with Amazon Prime, correct?
I believe so.
I believe they got 7 or 8 shows on Amazon Prime, which is good. I think it's going to be good for them. That's how they're going to kind of try to break into the States. And I have the same feeling. I gotta be careful here. I have the same feeling with Bellator. Like, we've got to find a way to become a little bit more proactive in whether promoting our fighters or getting
more
them
viewable.
More viewable. It's
like
the
viewable.
paywall. The paywall really hurts. The paywall really hurts. Especially at $10 a month when other shows and other things are $4.99 or whatever.
But if think about it, John, if you took and if the 4 promotions, we'll say the UFC, Bellator, PFL, and one, once a year, be it at the end of the year, whenever, you send 3 to 4 fighters. Now, the UFC gets it the first year. Bellator gets it the next year. PFL or whoever, and each year, they're the ones that host that event, and you can put all of those as, if it's 3 fighters each, whatever, you can match all those up, and you can do what you want with the prelims and everything, but your main card is going to be all of these fighters interchangeable between the promotions going against each other. Yeah. It would be cool.
Yeah.
All depends on who they sent, though, too.
Yeah, but I just look at there are fighters that could be available from the UFC if they wanted them to be available. Like guys, they know they're not going to really do anything with.
Guys that are never going to vie for their title anymore.
Exactly. I mean, look, and nothing against Masvidal, right? But Masvidal could be one of those guys. Stephen Thompson could be one of those guys. Anthony Pettis could have been one of those guys when he was still with the UFC, but now he's with PFL. I mean, there's just fighters there's plenty of options for them, stylistically fights to be made, that for the fight fans, for the true hardcore fight fans, I think it would tune in to be probably one of the most watched shows every year. So New Year's Eve might cause a little bit of a damper, but I think that there's a lot of people that sure would love to be out on New Year's Eve, but there's a lot of people they don't do that anymore. Yep. Hey, you know what? Let's just stay home, watch the ball drop, or actually watch fights. Maybe just do a ball drop with the fights. That'd be great.
I'll drop an ice ball into a whiskey glass and watch the fights.
Go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Wayne and they'll give you additional spending cash with your first initial deposit.
100% agree. Look,